My name's Daryl Clifford, and this is my mini-scale Endor layout. My first mini-scale build, which had some unique problems that you don't realize. Building detail with 12 to 20 pieces is a lot harder than it seems.
This is a very unique scale to build in, so just kind of off the top here, what led you to build at this scale?
All right, so I actually wanted to build a full Endor, obviously, and then once you start laying out the massive size of a minifigure, it just wasn't realistic for, the size of my house and everything, so I decided to go smaller, and it worked out really good. I got a lot of aspects in that normally you don't see. I started with the AT-AT over there under the platform, and then I moved on to the, I think the platform was next, and then I went to the shuttle, and then I don't remember. It all came together. But one of the cool things was you never actually see the base. So I got to just kind of make up whatever I wanted and go from there. The radar dish was kind of cool. I don't know. This was a good one because I did a lot of things that I'd never had to try before. So it was fun.
What were some of those new things you were trying, kind of pushing yourself to try other types of building?
The radar dish was one because it's big and you have to get that dish shape. Let's see. The rear entrance to the bunker was so much harder than I thought it would be. I rebuilt that probably 12 or 15 times trying to get the dimensions and the shape and just get it all right. I think it turned out pretty good, but
because it has to blend with the hill there, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And one of my favorite things that took me like 2 seconds to figure out was the speeder bikes. That is my rough draft, and I don't think I could have done it better than that.
Perfect. I mean, it's like you were saying at the beginning, at this scale, it's just a handful of pieces that you have to use to capture these iconic vehicles and details.
Yeah, and they have to be good enough where somebody looks at it and knows what it is, so, yeah.
And then how'd you decide on to represent the people and the minifigures here, how'd you decide on kind of the pieces and the scale?
Oddly enough, I actually had to look online for that, what a minifigure or a mini-scale person looks like.
I like the landing platform. We've got a bit of an imposter here on the landing platform.
Yes, the sausage man made his way in somehow overnight.
And then talk a little bit more about the base as well. Obviously, the lights stand out there and are fantastic, but what other building elements are in there?
It's pretty straightforward, actually. I just kind of came up with what I thought would be a cool-looking shape and a couple different levels, and of course all the antennas, because the Empire goes big on everything. So, and then decided to make the front 2 little sections there garages for the ATSTs, and kind of that part was fun because I wasn't trying to make it match anything. I just got to make up whatever I wanted, which in Star Wars, as you know, is not something that you usually get to do.
Right. You usually don't have a ton of creative liberty with Star Wars.
Yeah. And, I looked online just to make sure there was nothing there, and there was nothing there, so I got to just make it up. And interesting thing with the rear of the bunker, originally I had it way over there, and then they always call it the rear entrance, and then logic hit, and I was like, okay, that actually has to be close to the base, so I just kind of built a little hill in between.
Talk a little bit more about the landscaping in general here, both the trees and then kind of all the grass and forest type effect.
That was one of the positive turns on micro scale, because to build hills and mountains, they really don't have to be that big. So I just kind of bumped it up here and there to keep it from being too flat, and then just threw in all the vegetation. And the trees, this is the first time I managed to get trees that don't have flat branches, so I like that. It actually has that heavy branch look to it.
There's kind of a couple different styles you went with here.
Yeah, I built one of each, asked my wife which looked better, and she said do them both, so boss says I do.
It's always nice to have that variety in a build.
Yeah, I thought these looked better, but then it would have just been so much bland green. So, of course she's right. And then one other thing I was sure to try is I didn't want any buildings squared off. So everything, as you see, is at an angle here and there because it just looks better that way. Yeah. LEGO is square, and if you can make it not square, it looks better.
Right. No, it adds kind of more depth and life to the build.
Yeah, definitely.
So how did this platform come together for you then, especially because it's at that odd angle?
All right, so that is connected with 2 studs at the bottom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so don't breathe too hard. It came together not too shabby. The towers are weaker than I'd like them to be, I found out yesterday. When I plugged it in, half the lights didn't work. So I had to get into the towers, and of course, both of them completely shattered. But I got them back together and broke 1 light. So 6 lights weren't working. I killed 1 light getting them working, so I'm up 5. I'm calling that a win.
There you go. That works out in the end.
And at some point, you just say, you know what? It's good enough. I don't want to try anymore. Damage something. Yeah.
One thing that also catches your eye is the tiny walkers here, and you've got a bunch of these. So what types of pieces did you use to create that?
Let's see. The studs, no. 1 by 1 with the studs on the sides. You got a couple of those in there. You got a jumper plate, a couple robot arms. They're actually super simple. It's kind of fun. It's fun when you figure out what to do and you realize how simple it is. And I don't know, I might build more micro scale. This was kind of a treat for me.
Sure, no, I'm sure it's a fun, different type of building. But when you bring this to show, what is set up like? Because you've got all of those different little tiny figures and obviously the micro walkers and bikes and everything.
That was another great part of micro scale because I've been doing this long enough. I have boxes made that hold 1 plate per shelf, so it breaks apart. But the people and walkers were small enough, I placed them all at home and then just like folded the walkers down. So then I just click the plates together, fold them back up, and oh, man, setup was a breeze this year. It was great.
That's what you want to hear. The easier the better.
Yeah. Oh, I mean the trees. I brought the trees as trunks, and all the branches were pre-leaved in a bucket. So that was the longest part. It probably took me about an hour and a half to get all the trees together and up. But again, I had left 1 round 2x2 in place at home, so I knew where all my trees were going. I just had to put them all together and set them up.
And we've got a couple fun Easter eggs we have to make sure we point out here as well.
Yes. Water Park Batman has been in my builds forever, so he had to come, even though he doesn't fit the scale. He's looking for the water. This is the first time he hasn't been in water, so he's looking. And then, of course, you have your mini kit from the games. That that's fun.
Is it really a Star Wars build if there's no mini kit in it?
No, it is not. And of course, I was just corrected by a young fan who I had to point them out. And he's like, "Yeah, you can't really see those." I'm like, "All right, I'll move them for you."
So many critics here.
Yeah, I know it's a rough crowd, real mean. No, it's great, and crowd reaction is great, and that's what you really do it for, is to see everybody. Oh, I know what that is, and then yeah, it's good fun.
Excellent work on the layout here. I love the micro scale elements, the lights and everything, just bring it all together really nicely. So thank you for all your work here.
Yeah, thanks for coming by.